All right, so today I'm here with my sister. She just got her very first car. It's a 2006 GTI. She decided to wrap it satin lavender blue shift. Neither of us have wrapped a car, an entire car at least, before. Hopefully you can learn with us as we go. Let's check it out.
So how do you feel about doing your first wrap?
Excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like your new car?
Yeah.
Good Christmas for sure.
Mm-hmm. Purple, my favorite color.
You already got the steering wheel fit too.
I have matching floor mats.
What?
There.
So last night she came after work and I was eager to see the color, so I got started. I did a fender real quick and I did the hood. So I did the fender without tack reducer and it took like 45 minutes or an hour to do. The other fender I definitely want to do with tack reducer. I learned a couple things. So the tack reducer made it way easier to kind of work all these wrinkles and stuff out. The one thing we did learn was not to get the tack reducer in this recess here. So if you have a hood that looks like this, you have an area of your car that has like a recess, just get the tack reducer on the flat areas, put it on a rag, kind of wipe it on the hood, avoid these recesses so that way it bites nice and hard in the recess, and then you should be good to go. So now what we're gonna do is try to glass this surface out. We don't wanna have to fight all these wrinkles, it'll take forever. If we lift it up to the middle and then we pull evenly on each side, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a lot of this stuff out, make it flatter, and then we can just work our way to the corner. We're gonna heat and get all these wrinkles out. And then we're going to pull. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my glove. So now I can lay that down pretty good. And these wrinkles down in the corners, not a problem. We can work those out. So now here we go, look at all this stuff is just going out. We want to feed the material in and over this recess, because if we just pulled it straight across and then just tried to push it down, it might be okay. Like, I mean, I've seen the guys do stuff like that before in certain areas and it works fine. But in my case, because I'm not really that experienced, I'm nervous. I don't want to bridge it and then like shove the adhesive down and then there's too much tension and it wants to pop back up out of the recesses. So I'm slowly kind of working the material around the recess and over. All right, so we're almost done now. We've worked it all the way over. We got it fed into this recess. Now we gotta work these last couple wrinkles out. That's kind of the thing that's nice about vinyl as opposed to something that's sprayed on the car. You pretty much have all the time in the world. You don't have to like, you know, once it's spraying, if it's not, the settings aren't quite right, you're kind of screwed. In this case, we can literally take as much time as we want.
Last night, I cut it with my nail.
So she cut her nail through, and so we got a little oopsie there. So I'll show you how to fix it. We can stretch this very easily. We're gonna localize the stretch to right here. Shouldn't be a problem, but you wanna be very careful not to make this hole bigger and then ruin the entire hood. So it's in a kind of precarious spot. All right, so to work this out, I'm just gonna heat it, and while it's still warm, I'm just gonna kinda work that over. And that was better, yeah, it's fixed. So a little sketchy, but overall not impossible to fix. So we got that under there, and we're good to go. Nobody's gonna know. This car itself is old enough to drive, so a couple imperfections here and there we're not gonna be too concerned with. And that's kind of an important thing, like especially if you're doing your own car. Give yourself a good 3 to 5 foot rule. In general, like, don't be too hard on yourself. Like, you're absolutely gonna make mistakes. Hopefully we'll show you like little things like that, how to fix them. Even professionals, there's no such thing as a perfect wrap. Factory paint, there's no such thing as perfect factory paint. It's just that when you do it and you know where all the little imperfections are on the car, and you kind of carry that anxiety that, oh my God, someone's gonna see it, and it's like there's absolutely no one on earth who is going to go and look for that one little thing. So be easy on yourself, emotionally, psychologically, as you do your wrap. Forgive yourself.
I had a dead cat in my car.
All right, so now that we're done with the hood and we got the fender done, we're gonna do the whole side of the car. In order to do that, we're gonna measure from basically about here. We're gonna give it a little extra, so hold that right there. And we're gonna give it another couple inches on the back here. So we're gonna go 9 feet exactly. And what that's gonna do is basically allow us to cut the door out of that whole piece. So I got this line here. This is kind of where the edge of the door is. So I'm gonna move in like a good amount. So that way there's plenty to fold over into the quarter panel. Now, the thing I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna cut all the way up because we need to go the whole pillar and all the way around. So I'm gonna basically kind of start here. I'm not gonna go all the way down. I'm just gonna cut a big ass square out of this. We should be using a snitty. I don't have one, so I'm just using, this is pretty dangerous. Just be really careful not to scratch your car. Perfect. All right, that was ugly, but it worked. All right, so this part I'm very uncomfortable with. Have never really done this before. So, all right, cool. So we just tacked the the top corner. I only peeled the back. You can kind of see where the backing paper still is. I just sort of peeled it to about there. And now I've just kind of got the top tacked out, and then I'm gonna sort of lift this, glass that, and then work down and around, and then we'll come back and do the other side. Yeah, so I just cut a couple little wrinkles that I couldn't really get from the top. Just cut a little hole, and then a little heat, and now I can work those. So after a quick little break, we've got kind of the whole side worked out, which is pretty good. The whole pillar, we just got to do kind of the bottom part. I'm gonna open the door here. There we go. And then we start to cut. I'm trimming this up. What we should have done was remove the gas cap first, but we didn't. So what I'm trying to do now is cut on the inside of the gas cap. Some hideous cuts. If you actually know how to wrap and you're watching me do this, you're like cringing, which is fine. We're kind of going for speed here. So now I can peel that out. Touch of paint all over the gas cap. You know, car's already 16 years old.
Smoked.
Perfect, look at that. All right, so I started tucking this as a little test. It's working great. What I did was similar to here. I just kind of cut carefully along that seal. You probably want to put masking tape on it. Leave a little bit on the seal, and then have enough to lift and tuck the seal under. You don't want to cut too short, so then you see like all jagged lines along this. Yep, just finished up the door, just tucking the seal here. Same thing, like just cut up on the seal just a little bit. Just that way there's enough to just kind of beat it under there. We're back on day 2. Yesterday we got the whole side of the car done. Overall, solid 7 out of 10. Definitely rushing a little bit. Just got to get her car back so she doesn't have to pay for Ubers back and forth to work. So we're just kind of sending it. So right now we're going to do the bumper. So not really be too worried about taking too much apart. These are loose. They don't seem to want to come all the way out, and I don't want to break them, but that's fine because they come out enough that I can kind of work around that without any issue. We're just going to kind of wrap over this and this just for the sake of the look. And yeah, there's plenty of gap under the headlights, so we'll be able to tuck in there really good. So yeah, let's do it. Now, we're going to keep, yep. Go. Now that I've got that in a pretty decent spot, got this trimmed, got most of the bumper tacked, I'm gonna just lift this up and kind of work this stuff out this way. Might need a little heat. This is gonna get a little tricky right here. I'm gonna need to cut, but I don't want to cut that until I get that off. So the challenge here is it needs to kind of fold. It needs to go kind of up and then over and then fold in. key here is that I'm not really pulling hard, you know, at all, because I don't want to overstretch it and then it's gonna constantly be trying to pull itself back. Like if I stretch the film in underneath, it's gonna wanna pull back that way, which we don't want. So status update is, we've wasted most of the day. I overestimated my ability to cut around the bumper, and honestly, I did okay. And then slowly it was like, oh, we can take this off, and we can take that off, and we can take that off. Now we basically just disassembled the whole thing. We're taking the headlights out because getting the corner bit of the headlight was pretty much impossible. I don't have the skill for that. I've seen the guys at our shop do it. I vastly overestimated my ability to do it. However, I did figure out how the bumper worked. We got plenty of material left, so decided to just kind of do it all over again. Take everything apart. It's gonna come out. It'll come out mint. So.
The moral of the story is we struggling out here.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I just knocked out this fender in 20 minutes. The first fender took about an hour. I did this fender, just finishing trimming this up. I put the tack reducer on this fender. I feel like it just makes it go way easier. It just improves the air release. I'm just like just wiping it down. Pull it, glass it, wipe it, pull it, glass it, wipe it, pull it, glass it, wipe it, and that was the whole fender. So I'm definitely gonna do that on the rest of the car because I want this to go a little faster. So we kind of started hauling ass, just tried to knock over this side, which we pretty much almost got everything done. Just got a little last pieces to trim up the door, trim up the roof and the pillar area. Yeah, I mean, pretty much knocked out that whole side. Now we're gonna do the front bumper. We're almost back on track. Just remains to be seen how long this takes till we do the rear bumper. We're on track for what we wanted to do, so that way tomorrow morning, we just have to finish the roof and the trunk. So the front bumper is completely disassembled. Headlights are out. Everything's out. It should come out super clean, one piece. There's no recesses anywhere, so I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna do it now.